Y'all, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kel Sweetie, where we read books, we make art, and during a certain time of year, we start Halloween decor hunting. Today, we are going to be doing a Halloween haul. Did I just give y'all a Halloween haul? Yes, I did. And I had to break it up because y'all are definitely going to get a 2-hour video. And a sweet soul has told me that my videos are far too long. I'm not Olivia Reads a Latte, and so we need to cut those down. So here is my attempt to try and cut it down by breaking up the haul of things that I've gotten within the last 2 weeks into 2 different videos. Today's video is really exciting. Why? Because it is a majority of small businesses and vintage items. Yes, that is right. If you are here for vintage Halloween, you're gonna get it today, as well as small businesses. No more giving money to those big box stores, even though there are a couple of items in here that are from Home Goods, because I went a couple of days ago and I found some stuff and it didn't make sense to just put it away for another haul. So let's go into the intro. Hey y'all, so you may be noticing I am in a completely different location than where I usually am in my book nook. This is my craft corner. We now have a book nook and a craft corner. I love it. We have different sets. It's amazing. I have been wanting something like this for a while, where I can just craft and do things that are not my digital work. I haven't had that, and it's a little strange kind of working at my office desk on things that are like paint or even sometimes sewing or whatever the case is, and I wanted a dedicated space for that, especially with a lot of crafting videos about to come up for the holidays. Now, did I kind of Mickey Mouse this situation together? Absolutely. My old desk, all of a sudden, we had to take out a treadmill in our office, and that left a bunch of room on my side to really use for whatever, and I chose it to be a craft corner, and I literally wanted it to be in the corner to just not take as much space up in the room, and I took one of those small, like the smallest tabletop they had at IKEA, and I cut a corner off of my original IKEA tabletop desk, and I basically slapped it on there so it can be cat corner. Do we have a lot of room back here? No, we've got enough room to sit in and do work in, and it's in this space, and it works for me. I have a bookshelf now in this space, which is great. This is where all my Home Goods are going to go now. All of my hunting and stuff for these videos, books that I'm going to be filming sometimes are probably going to go here, which is amazing. It's amazing because where it was before was in the living room, taking up space, and nobody could even walk around. So we now have a craft corner that also has a bookshelf in it. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to make some things. You know, next month I'm going to be doing crafts, and I really wanted to have this space up before that happened, because last year I was basically doing crafts in my living room, and it just wasn't the best setup. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. So hopefully this is going to just up the value of those types of videos, because I really love doing them and I want to do them more often, not just around the holidays, but you need a better setup for it if you're going to do something like that. All of that out the way, I am excited to show y'all what I have got. So, like I said in the beginning, this haul is mainly going to be small businesses, eBay, thrift stores. There is going to be, and we're going to start off with some Joann's and Home Goods. Now, mainly because it's a couple of things and I didn't feel like it was necessary to separate them for a whole nother video. But if you are here for the vintage goods and the small business, please don't go, because it's literally this, it's just this that's in front of me. So just, I put down in the description stickers, what do they call them? Stickers? Time slots. I really need to learn that. I need to learn what the terminology is. But if you don't want to see any of this, that's fine. You can skip right on over to the vintage stuff. I will be showing you some great things because I'm super excited on what I've gotten this year from eBay and these small businesses and resellers. Not the gross ones, but the ones who are actually selling like vintage goods this year, because it's been really great and something that I've gotten into, and I think it's going to be a new habit. I don't want to say hobby, because it's definitely a habit of mine. So to start off, I'm going to just get the Joann's thing out the way. Last year, speaking of crafts, I fell in love with painting these styrofoam heads from Joann's. I painted a Frankenstein and a Bride of Frankenstein, and I had so much fun, and they turned out so great. They look, it's a very specific memory, but for some reason, they look very vintage in this way of like a convenience, a department store thing that would be like in a department store window. That's what I think of when I see these styrofoam heads that I did. Go back, look at what it was, because I'm going to keep on talking about it, because I've got 2 this year to paint again. And thank you to Gianna, who is apparently is a wonderful, amazing subscriber and so sweet, and has watched one of my videos and found out that Joann's actually brought out a couple of new styrofoam heads this year. They did not bring back the Bride, which sucks because it's amazing, but they did bring out a witch. Now, my partner saw this and he asked if it was like an indigenous zombie. Which, now that he said that, the high cheekbones, it does kind of give that. And now I really want to make it like a vampire of indigenous descent. Because, you know, that sounds amazing. Now that I'm saying it out loud. Last year, I painted my Frankenstein to look have a little tint, a little melanin in his green. And my Bride is definitely, so I definitely want to keep going down that way and paint these more in that scope. And this is supposed to be a witch. I don't think that anything in this figure says that it's a witch. It gives more like a vampire or a zombie or something. It's got all of these cracks in the skin. And I just want to do something more than just a witch, because I don't really feel like it sells it as a witch. Maybe if it was like cackling, I don't know. But we're going to paint this as our vampire, because Frankie needs a vampire friend. I'm waiting for them to do a Wolfman. Wolfman gets no love out in these Universal streets, because I also got a zombie. I want to say it's a zombie. It could be like a mummy. They're both basically the same semantics, but I'm also going to be painting that this year. I didn't know if they were going to bring back the styrofoam heads, because I don't think they brought them back last year, and I had gotten my heads probably about 2 or 3 Halloweens ago. So I was surprised to see that they had some new ones. They also have a skull if you're interested. The skull wasn't really out of the ordinary enough for me to go get it. And if you're interested in doing a craft like this, which I'll be doing sometime in August, go get it now, because it is only $8. So the original price I think is $12 and some change. Now with some of the discount, it's $8, which I think is really affordable for something that's molded pretty well. And once it's all done, will look pretty great in your Halloween decor. Thank you again to Gianna if you're watching. That was really dope of you to remember that I liked it from those videos, and to have seen it and think of me doing it and getting them. So that was sweet. My first time ever having somebody who subscribed to the channel like recommend something for me, which it was just really sweet. Like, thank you so much to everybody who's new here and everyone who's been here for a while. We are almost coming up on a year, and that's crazy to me. Oh, they're gonna be such a great vampire. I'm looking forward to this. Next is Home Goods. I went to Home Goods in search of this thing that is becoming a very difficult find for some reason. I want the Martha Stewart vintage looking candles. I'm gonna pop a picture somewhere, but they're vintage looking LED candles, and they're black and white and have little ghosts on the bottom of them. And while I've not been a huge fan of the ghost trend this year, because I'm just not sold on ghosts, I really thought these look really vintage. They're only $10, and I keep seeing them pop up in people's videos. However, I am having the hardest time finding them. We went to Home Goods. What did I find at Home Goods? I found this great cute little witch boot. This was $12.99. A little pricey. in my opinion. HomeGoods has been a little over the place with their pricing this year. I would have probably pegged this at $9.99, but I did really like the coloring with the orange and white stripes. It reminded me of the legs that Joann's did this year that are supposed to be yard picks. Now, that wouldn't have looked right in my yard because I kind of go for a very realistic witch cottage look every year in my front yard. But I couldn't figure out how to better use those in my space, regardless of the fact that I love the stockings on it and the little witch feet. It looked very, very 90s to me for some reason. And this kind of made up for that. Now, is it a candle holder? Absolutely. Will I use it for that? Absolutely not. I will probably be using it for a platform of some sort, because it has this nice little indent in the bottom of it. I think what's also interesting, and now I'm realizing this as well, that indent is there so that you can also have the option of having a pillar candle in there. And a black pillar candle or an orange pillar candle inside of that really goes. That goes off. The next thing I found was something that I kind of bought because my partner loves coasters. We have a lot of wood furniture, and he loves to have coasters. I found these amazing coasters at HomeGoods. Now, they have this steel bat casing around it that looks weathered and it's nice and classic, and absolutely love that. But I really, really loved these heavy marble coasters. They're so nice. They're nice quality. It's very, very heavy. Like you just heard it right now. It's very, very heavy. And this was only $9.99. I don't know how this was $12.99. And then this that's marble and steel was $9.99. The next thing that I got was one of the items from HomeGoods that I was looking for, and I ended up getting the last one in my HomeGoods store, and it was this cute little wobble head. So I think that this is by the same person who makes that creepy wobble head guy who's got that white round head and like those really creepy eyes every year. I'm going to try and find him and see if I can put him up on the screen. I've always kind of liked him because he looked a little folksy, primitive Halloween, like unsettling, classic Halloween colors, but he's too unsettling. And it just wouldn't have worked in any of my decor. But then I saw the cat this year, and I thought this was adorable. I love his little ruff around his neck, and I love this little jack-o'-lantern that's on his little stick. They're so cute. They're like a little cat clown, but not very clowny because I'm not big on clowns. And this was $9.99. You see with the trend, I don't see how this is still, in my opinion, more heavy duty than this. The last thing that I got at HomeGoods to show y'all was this ice scoop. So I found this in line while I was buying these items, and I throw a Halloween party every year at my house. This year will be the 4th annual Eek Halloween party, and I thought that this was great for ice for people to put into their drinks while they're at the party, and it was only $8. It is steel, and it had this primitive little sculpture of a witch on the top. Now, I've said many times I'm very particular about my witches, and to be honest with you, this is one of those old school looking witches that's a little iffy. But I also feel like because it looks primitive, you can maybe get away with the fact that it's just a weird sculpt. And that's why it didn't just kind of throw me off as soon as I saw it. But I really did love this. And again, for $8, I was so surprised at just the price point. It's like complete steel. It's one of those made in India pieces. So that's probably why. This will be really cute for my Halloween party. And that's it from the big box stores. We have one other thing to show, and then let's get into the vintage finds. I'm going to do the vintage finds, and then I'm going to do some of my newer toy collection stuff, because I know some of y'all are just here for the vintage, and I respect it. These next items that I bought are completely opposite of everything that this video kind of stands for, but I wanted to show them because I was interested. Just straight up, I've seen a lot of videos regarding this company lately, and I wanted to see what has people, going over there right now, and as well as the fact that I wanted to make a clear comparison in the same video of what type of quality you're getting for those prices, and that's Temu. Yes, I have for the last couple of weeks been getting tons of ads on Instagram from Temu specifically for one of those wall crasher monster statues. And finally, after getting those ads and seeing how many videos lately have been like, I get Temu Halloween. Here's a Temu holiday, like Halloween haul. And I don't know what the trend is with that or who they're paying, but I've been seeing a lot of it. And considering the price, it really wasn't going to be much of, much skin off my back for to go get it. But as somebody who is a huge proponent for supporting smaller businesses, I really did want to see what it is that you're getting for that amount of money, as well as is it really worth it? And the answer is no, it's not. Both of these are off of Temu. They were both $15 and some change. And this one, while maybe is redeemable, and I thought this is really the specific one I kept getting in my ads was the Wolfman. I think that this, as far as a mold's concerned, really isn't horrible. Like, there's some peeling in the back of his head that's a little concerning, but the inside of him is hollow, and it actually does have a real hole in the back. The painting of it isn't horrendous as the Freddy Krueger one I'm about to show you. It's just his eyes. His eyes are very scary and unsettling. He needs some eyelids, and I'm going to have to put some in. But other than that, it's not that bad. This is $15, and for some, this may be great to put on. I mean, honestly, this is going to go in my stuff, and this sitting right here doesn't look horrible. This is what they came up with. They took something that was amazing, shrunk it down, and mass produced it. Now, this is, I will say, like, this is me being completely honest. I get that some of us, like, we don't have the money to spend on some artists and some small businesses' work because, regardless of how much it may be worth as far as talent and time and labor, I get it. I'm not made of, contrary to belief, I'm not made of money. This is a lot of saving going on here and budgeting. But also at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay, well, if you really do love that piece, maybe just save up to get it. Or maybe it's just the fact of getting craftier with your, I just showed you a styrofoam head that is $8 and I'm going to paint. And it's going to look really great because it was one of my most favorite things last year in all of my home decor that I painted. Consumerism allows us to say, like, it's okay if I sit here and I buy off of Temu because of how much it is and because I don't have money to buy the actual thing that I want. And I have a heart, like, I completely sympathize with that, but also at the same time, somebody's work was stolen and then manufactured into something that was much cheaper and cheaper looking. You look at this and it's smaller and everything, and so why would I buy that? But there's also circumstances where it's not just a mold, it's just a print. And the print is easily copied, and I've heard so many horror stories this year of illustrators having their work just completely ripped off of Etsy and then copied and put on stickers and 5 million other things. Last year, I think the big thing was Walmart did that with another creator with a pajama set that was really popular, and the person was like, I know it's popular, it was one of my best-selling like prints, and Walmart stole it. This Freddy Krueger one, not as good. Freddy looks he's leaning over a little bit in the face, he's a little squished up in the face, and I'm gonna definitely have to paint him in order to make this look all right. His sweater also isn't the iconic red and green, they painted it red and blue. And they couldn't figure out apparently how to do a rubber hat. So they decided we'll just take it off. And in their effort of doing that, I think they screwed up his face in the mold. So again, are these gonna go up? Yes. Are they gonna go up after I have to rework them a bit because they're looking a little worse for wear? Absolutely. Am I ever gonna buy from Temu again? No. But I was curious. I was absolutely curious because I've seen so much lately from Halloween decor hunters, and just Halloween decorators and creators, period, who are doing Temu hauls, who are even well-known people within the community. And I think it's really harmful. You could do small business hauls instead and find really great stuff. And also, you don't always need to break the bank in order to support a small business. Some of the things I'm going to show you were extremely affordable. you're paying just as much for some of these items that I'm about to show you as you would for some of the things I just showed you from Home Goods. So I wanted to take some time out both to show you these, not necessarily to go out and buy them or anything, but to also just have a moment to talk through why a video like this is important, because companies like this are sitting here making recreations that look like this, and although they're charging dimes and dollars for it to be made, that's somebody's livelihood. Yapping is over on that point. I swear, y'all, I try to make these short. It's just not happening. We are getting into my favorite part of this video, and that is some of my eBay finds this year. There will be another haul that has eBay finds because I have some already in transit as I'm speaking to you all, but this video had to go up and I just didn't want to wait to do a huge one. So we will be talking more about some of my eBay finds. As I said before, I've really found out that vintage Halloween, primitive Halloween, that old school look, I love it. I absolutely love it. And while only one particular section specifically is going to have that full look, I like to have it sprinkled throughout the entire house in different places. And it's something that's going to be really important to keep in mind when I do my Halloween decor unhaul and audit this year. Your girl's got to get rid of some stuff. We just don't have the space. So I'm really excited for what I found so far this year. I've already shown in some of my other hauls, other eBay finds that I've gotten, and I really can't wait to see all of them together as I start, because I get giddy just even looking at what I got here on the table. So let's just get into it. These are, I'm gonna call this part maybe like the reseller portion of small businesses that you should support. I mean, at the end of the day, not all resellers are evil. Now, resellers who are going out to your local Home Goods, buying things that are already in the stores right now, and then upcharging them like 3-4 times as much, those are evil people. And I've found them out and about, and they're horrible. But people who actually, I look at eBay like it's a one big thrift store, a garage sale, an estate sale, all from home. That's how I approach eBay, and I really got into it during the pandemic when I couldn't go thrifting and couldn't go to antique stores, and I've continued just falling in love with it because I love looking for deals. I love searching. I love waiting if I'm looking for something specific and searching for it. And that's something that I definitely did with some of these items. I have told you time and time again, there is something that happened during 2021 where all these stores just decided we don't want to do vintage Halloween anymore. And for years before then, there was always a vintage collection, and Michael's was one of those people who was always putting out the best vintage collections. I am happy that they are sitting here and they are branching out. I am happy that other ghouls, a part of the community, are getting their whole vibe out there in the spooky season. However, I really miss the vintage Halloween, and I will start a petition to bring it back. But in the meantime, I will go looking for old school stock, a dead stock Michael's vintage Halloween. That was a really long explanation for what this is. I every now and then look on eBay and look specifically for vintage Ashland Halloween, vintage Michael's decor, just vintage Halloween decor, and just know that I'm looking for certain items from looking at videos or other pictures or whatever, because some people don't even know what Ashland is or specific enough to put something along those lines in their description. And I found some good deals. This being one of them, I'm so excited for this little witch hat with this little black cat, and he has this classic little pumpkin hanging from him with the wire. It's so cute. I think personally there's some felt here. So I think that the person fixed it, which I don't have a problem with. You don't even notice it unless you're looking close. And I also think that they painted his eyes orange, which I'm not mad at either, to be honest. So, yeah, that's not horrible. And I just think that this is so cute. It's that perfect off-black, off-white, these reddish oranges and reddish yellows, that orangish yellows that I really love about autumn and vintage Halloween decor. And I got this for a really good price on eBay. This was originally sold at $20. And in all honesty, I think I basically bought it for that price. Now with the shipping, I think the shipping is maybe $5, so I got it for 25. But if you go online and you look for this, some people are crazy and they want 40 for it. And one thing that's a tip for me, and if you choose to start shopping on eBay this year, is I set a budget for items. No matter what, I do not go over $35 for an item. If I go over 35, it has to be something really specific and really like, okay, there's no way in the world I could get that for $35. Another Michael's dead stock Halloween item, I gotta find a different way to say that, is this cute pumpkin scarecrow witch. There are so many combining things here. Guy from Michael's, this is from 2004. I was looking around and this right here, this primitive vintage look, Michael's used to do this so good. And then at some point, somebody said, no, we're not making that anymore. I don't care if it's selling well. We just aren't going to make it. So I really want them to bring it back. But they have this cute little paper. It's not a paper mache pumpkin, but it does look like it's been made out of paper mache. And his face is so, it looks like over the garden wall. It literally looks like over the garden wall. It has like actual corn stalk in its little broom and its little shawl that it has. It's so, so cute. This was originally $7.99. That will tell you how much Halloween decor and inflation has gone up since then. Now, I mean, 2004 was also a recession, but hey, we're basically there. So I'm so cute to this was just so cute. Another two things from a box store that we don't buy from anymore, but they don't even sell Halloween anymore, is Hobby Lobby. They used to sell the cutest Halloween decor, and so I do buy the dead stock Halloween that's in like the vintage lines that they used to have. There's one other of these two people, and I want one. I want the last one. I want to finish the set because they're so cute. This guy with his, he's like a little clown. They're like a little clown with their little jack-o'-lantern flashlight and their candle, and it's just so cute with his pointy hat. And then they're with their dress, their swing dress, and their witchy. It's so cute. It's so adorable. These are getting repainted. As y'all know, I love a good repaint. And I don't feel bad about repainting them because they're not like actual vintage. They're vintage reproduction. I really am looking still on eBay for the very last one. I believe they have a jack-o'-lantern in their hands. Not like this one where they're kind of holding this jack-o'-lantern. I wouldn't say it's one of those old vintage jack-o'-lantern flashlights, but I'm not certain because why would they be carrying a flashlight and a candle? Like, this is a little overkill. I really wish that they would these stores would bring back their vintage Halloween. You just can't find it anywhere anymore. Speaking of vintage Halloween, my first Bethany Lowe piece. It's cute. I will say that. That's the reason why this scaredy cat continues to be sold in high quantities. Bethany Lowe went off with this piece. It's super cute. I did buy it off of eBay from a seller. Like you know, on eBay they have actual stores that also sell things, and I did buy from them. It was $40. It was out of my budget. I kind of lost my mind on that. But the reason why, I had a good reason. It is a reference for later on this year next month now, when I do my Halloween crafts, I want to make my own paper mache lanterns. I want to make my own. I love the look of them, but I just cannot afford actual vintage paper mache ones, at least not yet. And I'm an artist. They were handmade at one point. I will hand make my own. And so I wanted something that was kind of a reference for me to work off of, since I can't, buy the actual paper mache ones because of price. I wanted something that I could look at and study and reverse engineer for me to make my own, because I really do like the mold on this little kitty cat and how it looks. It has this cute little topper in it that just goes into it like that. And it's cute. It's my first and probably my last Bethany Lowe. I wouldn't call this one a regret because I don't regret buying it. I knew exactly what I was getting into when I bought this. But even so, when it came in and I saw how small it was, it did hurt my heart just a little bit to kind of see that this was $40. But it's going to look very cute, and I'm sure there are some of you out there with the larger one and absolutely love it. Again, it looks great. I just can't. I can't that you were $40. You're adorable though. Next are a couple of things that are a little out of the ordinary and aren't necessarily specifically like oh, that's Halloween. And that's because I like to build out kind of sets. When I think of doing my home decor, I am really like, oh, I have a specific theme in mind. Let's build out that set. That's fun for me. Like taking things that aren't necessarily dubbed vintage Halloween or like made for Halloween and turning it into like a vignette. And last year, one of the things that I did regarding that was getting vintage candy boxes. It was the best thing that I did last year. I used them as platforms and I was so happy with the result on how it looked. It really sold the vintage trick or treat look, and I want to continue doing the same thing this year. Just put in vintage candy boxes in eBay. I look at them every now and then, mainly because I'm just looking for deals. I got this for $8.99. I don't need it in amazing condition. Like there's writing on the side of this. That's okay because I'm never gonna show that side. And even if I wanted to show that side, I have this side. Like, this is only for there to be a display, and it's in good condition for $9. There's some people who are trying to sell, like, I'm looking for a Zagnut one just for my Beetlejuice type of stuff, of course. There's some people who want $109. I can remember that number off the top of my head because I thought it was ridiculous, and it's still ridiculous. But they want $109 for a vintage Zagnut box. And the reason why is because they know that Zagnut is Beetlejuice related, and that's who's going to want to buy a Zagnut vintage box, is somebody's doing a Beetlejuice something or another. And that's why they're charging that much. I'm not paying that much for an empty box. I did get an offer on eBay, which is another hint. If any of you out there who are watching are new to eBay, before you sit there and buy it, like the item first and give it a day. Usually the seller will send you an offer. And that's how you they kind of expect for you to do that. So they may charge things a little bit higher with the expectation that they're going to give you maybe 15, 25. I've even gotten 30 if they're really trying to move it out, percent off of that original price. And that's what happened here. Very happy with that, and I think it's going to look really nice with my other boxes that I have. And then I have this. I'm not taking it out of the wrapping because actually it's wrapped really well, and I don't want to really take it out until I start decorating because it's just going to probably make it harder for me to store it. These are called quack medicine boxes. That's if you're looking for it once I finish telling you what this is going to be used for. These are herbal boxes that were used for apothecaries and old medicine shops and stuff. They have like natural medicines like this. This is hops and what's this? Spikenard, and a lot of this is poisonous. Now let's keep that in mind and be careful because that's why I'm also like, let's not take that out. But I did see this in a store when I was shopping around, and I thought the look was really great for my apothecary, but they wanted like an arm and a leg. So I bought a lot of 5. I think it was $15. And that was in my budget, and I just needed 5. I don't need a ton of them. This is going to go next to some of those apothecary jars and other things that I've been kind of taking and gathering for my witch's kitchen. And I think this is going to be really cute up on the shelves next to some of my other vintage goods. But if you're also doing something that feels like a realistic witch kitchen and you want some box vintage, like herbal boxes or herbal medicine type boxes, put in quack medicine. That will bring up all of these. Because I think I got here by putting in like vintage apothecary medicines or vintage medicine boxes or herbal medicines or something along those lines. And you get a couple of different things, but quack medicine is what's gonna pull, which is crazy, which is gonna pull these specifically up. So I can't wait to decorate with these though, because I think it's gonna look really nice. The last thing that I got for my witch kitchen, I've been slowly collecting these vintage books to put in my kitchen. And earlier this year, it was some of the first things that I got off eBay, and also for the Halloween decor hunting year, was a vintage palmistry book. And I found this great teacup fortune telling book. It's so cute. I really love finding some good deals on books like this because I've been trying to find some mystic type metaphysical type of vintage books. I also thought that it was cute because it's in the same colors as like the For Dummies books. So these are at a glance, but I don't know if they were like a big thing during, oh gosh, what's the copyright on this? I'm seeing 1957. 1957 this was released and everything. So maybe For Dummies got their whole branding from At a Glance, because they also put out Spanish At a Glance and card fortune. Oh, I'm going to look for that next. They have card fortune telling at a glance and astrology at a glance. So, how to become an American citizen at a glance. That is interesting. We'll go with it. But yeah, so that's one of the other vintage finds that I discovered on eBay, and I'm still looking for some more. I do want to, I have some books of my own. They're just not vintage looking. So I would rather have the vintage ones just to kind of sell the look. But that is everything that I got from eBay. Let's now get into some of my thrift store finds. So the next things that I'm going to show you, while not small businesses, they are within the vintage look. So I thought that it would go well with my eBay finds, but I wanted to make sure I clarified these were from thrift stores and not eBay. Some of these are not like super vintage, except for the books. And so, actually, no, I'm lying. Some of this is vintagey. At least it runs in that gambit. But I am excited because I found these for really great prices. Again, we are saving money and also still buying things that weren't stolen from artists. We love it, right? Okay, first and foremost, this popcorn box. You may be going, Kelsey, why am I seeing a popcorn box up there? What does that have to do with Halloween? Well, I'm glad that you asked. We have a Monster Mash movie theme, which some of y'all already know. I have to keep on saying that because some of y'all are new here. I'm getting new people all the time. Thank you to all the people who are new. But we have a new theme every year, and this year around the television is going to be Monster Mash movies. I had this idea that I wanted popcorn boxes. I thought about getting actual vintage popcorn tubs and boxes. One, they're just, a lot of the vintage stuff was, they weren't boxes, they were just bags. So it doesn't really work. But I thought getting some like carnival-esque looking popcorn boxes would work. And I was gonna buy some maybe off of Amazon, but I wasn't even sure if this idea was gonna work. And then I went into a Salvation Army and I got this for $1. So it was great. Thank you, Halloween gods, for blessing me with this. The idea that I have is I want to, one of two things. I want to put some paper shreds in here and then put, I don't have an example, but put some figures of some sort, even if it, well, maybe I can do these. Even if it was maybe these like Funko figures inside of the popcorn box. Like something along those lines where I can put smaller things inside of it to make up for it. And the maximalist look is always thinking of where can the smaller things go. So paper shreds, or I try and make my own popcorn, which is supposedly easy. You just use that grape stuff foam and some pale yellow paint, and then you've got popcorn. So I want to try out both. I have a ton of paper shreds that I can throw in here that are like black and orange if the popcorn thing doesn't work or anything, because I have tons of that great stuff foam because we do work around the house all the time. So that's the idea behind this. We will have to see on whether or not it works out. Another item that you may be going, Kelsey, why do we have this? This lantern. I saw it at Savers, and this was $5.99, and it looked, rustic, and I really thought that it was going to look so nice in my witch kitchen. So again, always thinking about these things that maybe don't look like Halloween for that space, because the whole idea is that it kind of sells that a witch actually is working in there. And so I thought that this would be rustic and cute to put in that area. So I bought that the other day, last week, 2 weeks ago at Savers. And then I stopped into a Goodwill. I don't usually go on Goodwill. I just don't have a lot of luck in Goodwills here in LA. But I did go into a Goodwill that I had just opened. And I found these canisters that I thought were going to be really great for my apothecary space. This one was $3.99. I thought that, the look of it was really good and pretty straightforward. I just loved how it looked. And then I also got these little canisters as well. They charged me $3 a piece. I think that because they were unmarked. I think that maybe $2 would have been more approachable, considering this one was $3.99, but I bought them, so, that's me. I loved the cork tops that they have on them. So I think that that's going to still fit the look. My biggest goal is to get canisters that look very much like they would go into an apothecary or something, or that are rustic with this glass, because I do not have the budget to sit here and buy tons of vintage apothecary jars. I've been lucky with some of the ones that I found so far, but I just cannot have like tons and tons of those. I would love to, but we just don't have that in the budget. So until then, we're gonna have these. Last year, I actually made my own, and they turned out pretty good. I think, you know, we will see when we put the real ones next to the fake ones this year, but I really do think they turned out really good. Go check out that video so you can make some of your own if you're trying to do some apothecary jars this year and you just don't have the budget. This was like the sleeper. This was the sleeper find, and that was these LED taper candles. So these are $4.99, and they look like this. That classic vintage candle look. So I have an idea of possibly painting the tips of these yellow, or even taking like a yellow like Crayola marker, or like, you know, transparent marker, and coloring the tips of it yellow just to get that tinted look from actual vintage LED candles. Well, and they're not LED, but you know, candles that look like this. And the best part about it is that this is something that can stay out for Halloween and Christmas. So it was a 2-for-1 for $5. I'm so excited. Do I still need to test whether or not they work? Absolutely. I absolutely do. But from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with it. I say that now, and then they may end up just looking good and not actually working. But this was a big find for me because the look of these are amazing. And what's crazy is people would probably charge a lot of money in antique stores for me to get a pack of these, because it has that vintage antique look that you need to put in all of your brass candlesticks that you can't find anymore in the stores. So that was all the things for the actual home decor. Books. This has been the year of the books for me. Certainly. I have gotten so much luck at the thrift stores finding books, and a lot of those being the Goosebumps books. I said at the beginning of the hunting season, I could never find Goosebumps books because everybody was grabbing them up. Now, I actually need to sit there and go, okay, now I'm the person grabbing them up. I'm now going to stop buying the Goosebumps books. I have so many now. Like, I'm not trying to start a small collection, just some to have here and there and maybe read to reminisce on. I grabbed 2 Goosebumps books recently at the Goodwill. One of them, I'm positive, is from the 90s. Like, this is definitely, I think, like, early or late 90s. This one was copywritten and published. 94. Yep, 94. And it has that classic bumpy frame that Goosebumps is known for. This is what I'm mainly looking for. And then I ended up picking up this one too, mainly because I think this was some of the last years that they still had that bumpy frame that they don't do anymore on the front. This one was definitely from the early 2000s, but before they did the complete overhaul of their books. So they kept that slime frame, but the colors started to become a little bit more vibrant and everything. These sitting next to each other, definitely you can see one is newer than the other, but you know, at a glance, it's still vintage and it's a good look. And this is hilarious to have all these little lizards on a payphone. So I am going to cool it on the Goosebumps books. I really do have enough, and there's somebody else out there looking for them, and me buying them up means that they can't find them, and they'll be sitting there like me, how I was last year and earlier this year. One thing that I found that I was really excited about was scary stories to tell in the dark. So this isn't vintage. I'm positive this is a new release one that was donated. I'm thinking like 2000 and something. But it's not like, this one's not super vintage, but I did want to get it because this is iconic. This is the iconic horror. This is the gateway into horror for many of us millennials. And I mean, it was cheap. I don't have the tag on it anymore, but at least paperbacks were like $2. Check out your local thrift stores, not vintage stores, and look in there in the middle grade section, because that's where some of the best books for your decor is going to be. Another thing that I found was the illustrated version of The Invisible Man. So last year, I got, what was it? Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I really loved both of them. I mean, the covers were great. But another thing that I loved is that they had these great illustrations on the inside. And they're like on basically every single page, which is insane to me as an artist because that means that they had to pay somebody to do all of these illustrations. And this is a whole book full of illustrations. It's just insane to me. And each one of them is so dynamic. I keep them year round on my bookshelf because they're great to kind of reference as well, just because of the writing, like the drawing style. I'm kind of starting to collect the Halloween versions of these stories. I'm positive Dracula's probably out there. Check your middle grade. And last from my thrift haul is the book adaptation of E.T. Now, this, I didn't know that they even had a book adaptation, but you can tell that this is definitely an 80s paperback. I love this. It's going to stay on my bookshelf year round. As y'all know, I started after reading Paperbacks from Hell. I really started collecting some of these 80s vintage paperbacks because the covers on these are just really great. Like, this whole cover is, I love it. But this is definitely going to go probably in my X-Files Alien section around my movies because obviously it's E.T. and regardless of it being a book. All right, we are now going to get into my small amount of Etsy, and then we're going to get into some of the things that I found while at the flea market at the end of last month. So it was about a month ago that I bought some of these things, but I've been waiting to show y'all. So let's get into that. All right, my next section is Etsy and small business owners that are creators. So I found many different things this year, both vintage looking, primitive, as well as stuff that is newer Halloween to go in my movie section. I want to start off with these cute. They're so cute. Dolls, primitive looking dolls from Etsy. I'll put their shops down below. But first off, I got this little Frankenstein. He's so cute. He's a nice size. He was priced so well. And he just looks very Midwestern. This is the Midwest invented primitive Halloween. I am certain of it. They invented this look. Absolutely. He smells like cinnamon. He definitely was aged up with cinnamon, which I'm not mad at, but my office does smell a lot like cinnamon now, and that's a lot to kind of take in so quickly for the new fall season. But this guy was so cute, and he's a good size. The two of the dolls I'm about to show you actually wore recommendations from Cozy K Haven, and you should check out her small businesses video. She shopped a bunch of different primitive sellers on Etsy and gave me the idea of even having this video, so make sure you go check her out. She has some really great videos. I just can't get over him. He's gonna be so cute amongst all of my other vintage stuff. Like, I want to put him against all of my other vintage stuff, but primitive Halloween is something else that I've been really starting to get into, and this is kind of my gateway drug into it. Another one was this Dracula doll. Let me straighten him out here for y'all. He's so cute with his little X's for eyes and his cape. His little cape has been like kind of dyed a little red, and he's so cute, and he was painted so cleanly. Like, that's another thing too, is I think sometimes the primitive look can look a little bit not on purpose. Like, okay, are you trying to go for primitive, or you're just not good at making stuff? And I think that it really comes down to the attention to detail and in the crafting that really tells you one or the other. And I just think that both these sitting next to each other are going to look really cute on a shelf. They're going to look adorable. I'm so happy that I found these, and they were so cute and just priced really, really well. That's it for some of the vintage primitive things I found on Etsy so far. But these that I'm about to show you are some really, really creative ideas for newer Halloween things if you're in, like, looking for that type of stuff. I know that sometimes we're very quick if we're looking for, like, oh, I want Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Let me go out and buy that branded merch because it's in the stores. But I think that it's a lot like better when you just find like some fans who are making fan art because you can tell that they're fans. And these VHS tapes are definitely that. I'm going to show you all three of them at the same time. Finding these was amazing. I really think that this is going to look great, and I have so many different ideas, but for these, but I love that they were different colors. It's not easy to find these green ones at all, and they really paid attention to detail on why they colored them the way that they did. There's the 3 slashes in the VHS cassette for Nightmare on Elm Street, and even on the side it says Springfield because it happens in Springfield. Springfield video, be kind, please rewind. It's just like so cute. It even has a little horror sticker. Now this is the more simple out of all of them. You have Halloween, and you have these Halloween leaves coming out of the side of it with all of this blood coming out of this classic looking Halloween VHS cassette. And then you have the green one for Friday the 13th because Jason comes up out of the lake, and it looks like it. Like, it has these rocks over on the side with a little bit of this, it's a little bit of some plastic plant that looks swampy, and like some of the resin that they did for the blood, it also has some water mixed into it. I think that it looks absolutely great, and it's going to look amazing around our television as we're watching scary movies this upcoming spooky season. So they took all my money. Keep in mind, these were 25 a piece. I did 25 a piece. Now, of course, you had shipping, but 25 a piece for something that looks this good. Get used to that, because I'm going to Midsummer Scream this weekend, and there's probably going to be more stuff like this. And I'm looking for things that are in this vein, as well as some vintage Halloween. But these just came in, and I'm so happy with them. I'm going to link them down below. They had The Shining, and I had to kind of stop myself from buying other VHSs just because I didn't have the space. But I'm just so happy with how these look. Another crafted piece from Etsy that I found was this great Shining red rum door. I love watching The Shining every year. I read the book, and it ruined the movie for me because Kubrick really messed up the whole plot of the story. That's neither here nor there. R.I.P. Shelley Duvall, though. But I did find a shop that does these very like cute miniatures, and I just wanted something that wasn't too over the top or crazy for something that references Shining because I watch it every year. But I didn't need something humongous. Like, I didn't need tons of like the Shining memorabilia. And this was really perfect, and this was only $20. What's great about it as well is if you are into this type of stuff, your Funkos are going to fit perfectly in front of this door. I put a Funko in front of this door just to see about the measurement, and the handle of the door goes straight. It's right next to like where the Funko's hand is, so it makes sense. This is a really great display if you're somebody who collects Funkos for like horror movies and you want a place to properly display that stuff. So I'm going to definitely put my Jack Torrance here. That's going to work perfectly. Last is someone that I found by kind of accident. I was looking at another horror collector's Instagram page, and they had this great Halloween print. It looked vintage. It had the Nichols General Store on there and like the 3 masks from Halloween. And it was really cute, and it looked like a great reproduction. And everybody in the comments was asking where they got it from, and they weren't answering them, which I thought was kind of weird. And then I started to do some searching because Google is your friend some days when you start typing in different things. And I found that it was from Jack's attic. However, what I found is that the picture was so great, the print is so great, that it's on Pinterest, and a lot of people are grabbing that image and just printing it themselves to put in their homes and everything. And I think, unfortunately, I think that might have been the case with this creator and this collector, because it was very strange that she just wouldn't tell anybody where the frame was from. And the thing was is that you saw that she would answer other comments, but there was nothing anywhere that said like, oh, I got it from such and such. So that's unfortunate. But the other unfortunate thing is that it was from a special, and so you couldn't even buy it if you wanted to anymore. But I really, really loved his work. And again, he'll be linked down below, but it was Jack's attic. He sent me the sweetest note with my purchase. He even drew this little this little jack-o'-lantern like from Halloween and wished me a great summerween. And this is why you buy from small businesses, because you get stuff like this. Like, it's so cute, and I absolutely loved getting this in the mail. And the things that I'm about to show you are amazing. So it's really worth it. And I thought the prices were really affordable for what you're buying. So first off, I got two, they're supposed to look like vintage, like baseball cards, but like the ones you would get like from a gumball machine type of thing. So they're smaller, and they're both of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers from Halloween. On the backs of them, what's great is that they have ads, just like those bubblegum cards you used to get, and they're like, this one has to do with Haddonfield confections with candy on the Laurie Strode one, and the other one on the back has to do with Mass from Vincent Drugstore. He recently just put out a Friday the 13th premium baseball trading card, and how you kind of get the jerseys in trading cards. Instead, you have like some of Freddy's sweater, and you can see it through like these slashes in the card, and the outside, it's like a bifold one, and the outside of the card looks like a VHS cassette tape, and so it's amazing. The quality is there. But I'm so happy to get these. He laminates them and then puts them in these like baseball trading card packages. So again, they basically come out of the package ready to display or throw in a frame. I'm still figuring out if I want to put these in a frame. Another one that I got was this vintage baseball card that has Laurie and her two friends from the first Halloween on the front of it. On the back of it, it has Strode Realty as well as General Nichols Hardware, which has the 3 different masks, and one of them being Michael himself, which is funny to me. Yeah, it looks really classic. Again, it's great quality. My partner's brother is actually a reseller of like baseball cards and soccer cards and everything, and I showed them to him, and he was blown away by how it looked. So quality assurance. And the last 3 that I got from them is from Night of the Living Dead, which these were on sale, and I really did want these, especially the one of Ben from Night of the Living Dead. If you don't know, Ben was actually the first Black protagonist in a horror film. So, first Black guy who wasn't just killed first off. And I really thought that it'd be great for me to get him in a card just for that representation. Again, all of the backs of them have ads that are related to Night of the Living Dead. Also, one of them is Tom and Judy, and the other is Sheriff McClelland. Yeah, these are really great. I'm so excited that I found him. I now follow him on Instagram, and I'm constantly checking to see what new things he has coming out. But again, quality. This is what happens when you buy this instead of the Temu stuff. You're happy. You got quality. That's everything from Etsy so far. I mean, again, I'm going to be buying from a ton of creators probably this weekend. So really look out for that if you do enjoy hearing about small businesses, because they are going to be coming up. Next and finally, I am going to show my flea market finds from going to the collector's flea market. And a lot of them are classic movies as well as classic horror films from the early 2000s and late 90s. So let's show that and then get out of this hot room. My last section to share for this video are resellers that I found at the flea market. So last month was my partner's birthday. We both are some huge nerds and collectors, and for his birthday I took him to this place in LA called Frankensons. They're a collectibles flea market. They happen every weekend, and essentially it's some sort of nerd franchise, anime, horror, Star Wars, Marvel, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, really anything. If it's a nerd franchise, you're gonna find it there. There's a bunch of different people who have booths, and it feels like one big old flea market, but only for collectors. It's a lot of fun. Made a great time. And I went in there looking for specifically collectibles for Halloween movies for my movie area. After this, I definitely made a conscious decision to hold up on buying anything that was like a reproduced sort of thing, and that's where I pivoted into some of the things I showed you that were from Etsy. Showing the smallest thing first, and since the last thing I showed you were baseball cards and collectible cards, We got really into X-Files this year. We love it. The show has aged pretty well, all things considering, and it's been addicting to watch. And so much so that I really wanted to have some areas that showed some recognition to the show, and we found these X-Files trading cards, and we thought that they were so nice, and they were cheap. So we ended up getting some X-Files cards. I'm not sure I'm going to display them just yet, but they are going to look really cute. And then I also got some of these bubblegum packs. They're like one of the vintage bubblegum Tops cards. And this is full of, they're called Friday Frights. So it's all these different horror films. And they're hilarious. This one's Alien. This one's Aliens. We've got Actual Fright Night, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Freddy. So these were really dope, and I think that they're going to look really great. I have to kind of figure out and look up some ways to display these cards, but I'm good on the cards, but they were really cheap and vintage looking, and again, always looking for some of those small things that are like interesting details that have people kind of go and look at what you have. Now, for some of the big things. So there's not a lot of things, all things considering, of some of my other things I've shown in the haul, but I do love some of the things that I got. I put all of my Funkos together because they're pretty easy to just kind of display. I have Jason here. I don't have a Jason Funko, and again, I wanted some of the early 2000s slasher classics to be represented. This one's probably going to go next to the VHS cassette tape I just showed you. Then I have this large Halloween. This is the exclusive that they had at Walmart that glows in the dark, but again, I love this cover. The cover for the poster for Halloween was so great, and so I'm really happy that I found this. I also got Beetlejuice, especially with Beetlejuice coming out in September. I thought it'd be really cute to get a little Funko, because obviously people are going to be talking about that left and right, and it's going to resurge all of this love for the movie that I have. And then finally, I got Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street as well to show some representation there. These are pretty straightforward. I bought them from a great seller at the Flea. It was like 3 for like 20 or something along those lines. I don't know how they're staying in business with those types of prices. Me and my partner are talking about it, but they look great. I haven't seen anything about them that seems like off, so we're gonna keep it that way. So these are great, and they're just nice to fit into small spaces in my movie area. Now, the other 3 things that I got are a little more specific. I got this great Wolfman minibus. This was $20, which I thought was a really good price. Again, the Wolfman doesn't get enough respect out here. Now, I'm not saying that I too much care for the movie, but as far as the idea is concerned, as far as werewolves are concerned, I don't see enough werewolf paraphernalia out during Halloween. So I definitely picked this up. I think it's going to look really nice with some of my other items, and I can't wait to take it out the box and display it. I finally got this ghost face bobblehead. Now, I've been wanting a ghost face bobblehead for maybe 2-3 years. It hasn't been forever, but I've been wanting one for a very long time. And the problem is that they overcharge this absolutely everywhere. I've seen $60. I've seen some people try and get $70 out of it, $50 even. I got this for $35, and that was a fine price for me, considering how many places I've seen that have overcharged this item. If you look it up online right now, I think even Amazon's going to really overcharge it. I'm not certain on that. Don't quote me on it. But I think that they're even asking like little crazy prices for it. So I ended up and finally snatched this up. As some of y'all know, I love Ghostface. I love the Scream franchise. I love that they're basically just adult Scooby-Doo movies. In my mind, you're just asking who done it. And then you sit there and you try to reverse engineer how you missed it the first time. So, or if you figured it out correctly. This is probably going to go on my desk year round. So after I do this video, I'm going to take him out the box, and he's going to live on my desk year round for just a little bit of Halloween, just a touch of it. I don't put a bunch of it up. That's how I keep it magical. But I will keep this out year round, so it was definitely worth the money since I knew that I was going to keep it out. The last thing that I want to present in this haul is my Candyman figure. Now, I have no Candyman paraphernalia. I have none whatsoever. Where is the representation? That is why I bought this. It was also it was at a good price too. I think I got it for $25 or $30, and I thought that was a really good price considering I had been looking for some stuff that was related to Candyman. And again, I want some more black horror in my movie section, and I thought this would be a great way to do it. I'm going to keep him in the box. It's definitely not coming out of the box, which is perfect because he is so heavy and large. He displays perfectly in the box. So I'll probably put this next to, I don't know, something else that I have, but I'll figure it out when I start pulling things out left and right. But again, this is originally from Trick or Treat Studios, who's known for doing all of the great classic things for the movies and getting licenses and doing really great stuff. They're the ones who did the Halloween pails this year for all the masks that I wanted to buy, but I still haven't seen Halloween 3, so I couldn't justify it. But that's what I got at the flea market. I'm really happy with what I found, and I was glad that I could support some businesses while I was out there celebrating my partner's birthday, who he didn't even get anything. But we will not get onto that. That'll be it for today, y'all. I told y'all this was going to be a long one. It's always a long one. I swear, if I get this under 50 minutes, like we don't hit an hour, a win is a win for me. A win is going to be a win. I'm super excited to see what I'm going to find at Midsummer Scream this weekend. Weekend after next, I have some people who have reached out who are saying, like, I want to start Halloween decor hunting too. I don't want to wait until October and all the good stuff is gone. So I'm actually going with some friends to go Halloween decor hunting and to check out this place called Beetle House, which is a Beetlejuice themed restaurant and bar. So I want to catch that on a vlog. Expect that to be coming soon, but also expect for a lot of crafts to be coming out of this corner. That is something that I'm super excited about, pulling out some things and really getting into making some things. I want to make a witch broom this year. As y'all know, I have tons of repaints. I love all the love that I received on that witch I found at Home Goods and me wanting to repaint her. Thank you so much for all of that. But yeah, stick around if you want to see any of that or anything similar to what you saw today. There's going to be a lot of Halloween coming up if that is your jam. I'm overwhelmed just thinking about it, but I'm also so excited. So subscribe down below if you're into that. And I did this in the last video and it's been so fun seeing everybody's choices, so I'm going to do it again. If you made it this far, I want to see your favorite emoji monsters down below. There are more than you would think, which is surprising, but I want to see your favorite monster emojis down below in the comments if you made it this far. It was a lot of fun doing that last time, and so let's try it again. Let's see how far people get. Since my videos are so long, I think I might start doing that. Shout out to Roxanne from her channel Buy Bun. She does that in her videos, and I love doing it every single time. And it's just so that she can see how many people make it to the end. So it's fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. Thanks y'all for watching, especially with how long my videos are. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!